Ciao, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whoever you are, and whatever time it is in the world. I'll tell you what time it is right now. It's 4:30 p.m. on a Friday afternoon in Sydney. That's why you got three very, very happy blokes. Happy Friday indeed to all of you watching, or Thursday evening. Happy Friday when you do watch this. And how are you doing? My main squeeze on this channel, my side chick in the real world, Bruno Altamore. What's going on?
It's good. It's good. It's been a long week, especially when we played. What was it? Sunday morning here in Sydney, and I'm eager for the season to keep going. And it's just like, okay. And then next week we've got Champions League draws, so it's getting exciting. It's getting exciting.
It is. I'm weirdly calm, so there has to be a storm on the horizon. There just has to be. How you doing, Matt Pickham? Thank you for joining us once again on Inter Worldwide. Always a pleasure, my brother.
Man, it's Friday. I'm happy. Yeah, as Bruno said, pretty much just agree with that. Yeah, this week has felt like such a long week for me. So I can't wait for the weekend to start and get some depression through Inter again. It's fantastic.
100%. You have to live for it. You have to live for it. Our opponents this week are Spezia, obviously following on from our win against Lecce. It's going to have to be a little bit better, for a lack of a better term at the moment, than a last-minute winner. So we're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on our opponents. But first and foremost, there are 11 people in the chat, which is fantastic. Let me know who's here. And especially, once again, if you are new, Mighty Mal, what's going on? Not expecting anything other than a win. I think all three of us will agree. First match at the Miat, so you have to start strong. Ciao to Marco and, of course, our good friend Jonathan. Spezia got lucky last week in a sense that Empoli and in particular Mattia Destro was actually dominating them for larger periods of the game. It was only the heroics of Dragoschi, their goalkeeper, that was pretty much keeping them in the game. And then a goal against the run of play is all you need pretty much at this stage if it's a Spezia versus Empoli match. 3 points for them in the first match day. As you can see, Bastoni and Verde celebrating there. We'll talk about their lineup soon, but still a team that is going to cause us a few problems. But maybe this win against Empoli might just give them that little bit of overconfidence that could cause them to slip up against us. I expect us to win comfortably. I was cautious against Lecce. I'm more confident about this one. I will regret saying that 2 minutes, 52 seconds. That's where that will clip at. Bruno, how you feeling going into Spezia?
I'm confident. In our last 4 fixtures against we have come away with 3 wins and a draw. And I just think we're going to continue that tradition against them. Like you said, the win against Empoli might have given them the overconfidence that, a lot of these teams have. But Spezia aren't a walk in the park by all sense of the word. But when they went into that fixture against Empoli, this was a must-win game for them, even though it was match day 1, because you need teams like Spezia need to put away the teams like Empoli in order to survive the back end of the season when it comes to relegation. And I don't think their hopes are as high in regards to defeating Inter. In saying that, when the pressure's off, Inter seem to always find a way to put the pressure on themselves. So I, like a lot of our fans are expecting, and myself, I do think this is a game we should be winning. But if I was a betting man, I wouldn't be dropping hundreds, let alone thousands of dollars on them to win, because it's this Pazza Inter that seems to have returned. But the good thing when it comes to Inter is we've got stability now. We've basically turned around and said, this is our squad. There's no more departures. I think MATCHDAY is the last one to leave Inter in this transfer market. In saying that, if Chelsea come in with a $45+ million offer for Dumfries, it's going to be a very interesting couple of final days. But I think the stability in the squad is first and foremost what the fans need, let alone the team. And they need to know if they I just saw Jono's comment there in the chat. They need to know, who are they going to be playing alongside the same set of players come, match day 5, match day 6 in the Champions League. They need to know if they're going to be going to war with these boys. And I think the comments of Marotta and Inzaghi have really instilled into the minds of the players that you're all safe at the moment, unless Lukaku wants to follow his dreams and, boost Manchester United somewhere or something like that, like he did to us last season. So we'll see.
100%. Matt, cautiously pessimistic or what, bro? How you feeling?
Yeah, like this is one where I feel like if we get an early goal, we go on with it, unlike last week. An Inter team to score an early goal and then struggle, I haven't seen that very often. So I think if this week we can get the early goal, especially against Dragowski, like from Fiorentina, like he was one of my favorite keepers. So for him to go to Spezia, that's a massive signing for them, and he's going to be very good. And he's a very, very good shot stopper. So we need to get him away early. Lautaro and Lukaku need to be on their A game, because these are the games that win you titles. As we know, it's not those big games; it's winning these little games. So Spezia, they'll fight till the end. They'll probably go to the San Siro for a draw, but if we get an early goal against them, it changes their tactics completely. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, well said, man. Let's go to some of the comments. Benjamin Neal is here. I hope you have a good workout, my guy. Marco says, can you please give Handanovic the credit he deserves for that incredible save? Everyone seems to write him off. Pardon me. But he has saved our butts so many times over the last few years, and very often he's the one that makes the difference between us winning it or losing it. I'll tell you what, if these two boys want to sit here and talk and praise Handanovic, we will. Otherwise, we'll just move on. Bruno?
Look, I got to say, he's been our savior more often than not. But at the same time, I'm glad this comment came in now. We need to incorporate Onana into the squad sooner rather than later, because if we start getting complacent in the sense of Handanovic solidifies his spot in the squad again, it's going to do the same as what it did to Radu. It's going to do the same to, I don't even know if he's still on our team sheet, Brazil. You know, these good, hopeful goalkeepers are just getting put on the sideline. There's no rotation whatsoever. And I think I was watching a Prem game, and the commentator said, why are goalkeepers so cemented in their position? If a player has one or two bad games, they get subbed off. They get replaced in the starting lineup. So I feel the same does need to happen with Handanovic, but he played a great game against Lecce. It was Lecce. It was a lot of these players' first game in Serie A. So you'd expect him to play a great game against them. But I just don't want us to, push Onana to the sidelines, because there is so much potential there. And you know what? Potential is the wrong word, because he's proven himself. He proved himself at Ajax. And, people can say, oh, it's a different league, whatever. As a goalkeeper, you got to stop the ball from crossing that line. You got to stop the ball from going into the back of the net. Doesn't matter what league you're in, you're going to be facing shots. So he's proved himself at Ajax, and I just think if Inter become complacent and Handanovic, finds a way to keep himself within this squad and this starting 11, we're going to be having a very different discussion come this time next year.
I'm sure it'll be a discussion that comes up more often than not this season. It's going to be one of many. Matt, any comment on this before we move on to our scrappy win against Lecce and how we feel about our team moving into Spezia?
Yeah, it's kind of in that situation that Toto and Julio Cesar situation, where you have two keepers. One's on the other end of his career, one's nearing the peak of his career, and it's the time to transition. So I think with a lot of football coming up, Champions League, as Bruno said earlier, we've got the draw next week, and then the week after that, we actually start the group stages. So I feel like you got the Wednesday, the Sunday, the Wednesday, the Sunday. Yeah, you have to play the two keepers. So we should see Onana get some game time soon.
Yeah, well said. It's going to have to be better than this, lads. As clutch as it was, Denzel Dumfries, in my opinion, will make the starting lineup for this game. I don't see how you can really start Damian in front of him, despite my respect and love for Damian. He can do a good job, and he'll do an even better job coming off the bench if we need him. It was scrappy. It was not good. Matt, since we haven't had you on the channel since this, I don't really need to ask how it was for you or how you felt, man. Proper early Sunday morning heartache stuff or heartbreak stuff, but at the end, all is well that ends well, I guess, even if it is past the 94th minute.
Yeah, look, I'm glad we got the win, but this game felt like a loss. I can't remember the last time we won 2-1, and I have sat there just thinking, why am I an Inter supporter? Why do I do this to myself? Waking up 4:30 every Sunday, because it's the start of the season too, right? It's the first time you haven't really got much sleep. You've been watching football. It's back. and you're just sitting there like, why do I put myself through this? Especially after the first minute goal from Lukaku. Like, I was on cloud 9, and then that happens. But yeah, the reason why I was so upset is we didn't play well. It wasn't about the scoreline. We could have won 3-0 or whatever it would have been, but we just didn't play well. So if we're going to win this title, if we're going to be contenders, we really have to show our stripes. And last week, we have to forget about that, move on. And yeah, hopefully Inzaghi can, sprinkle his little magic on.
Yeah, well said, man. Marvel Lawson is in the house. It's good to see you, my bro. This game coming up against Spezia, Bruno, it's a good chance for Inzaghi to put his best 11 forward, which is what we see on the screen right here. As I said, Dumfries coming in for Damian. That should be the only change, although Bastoni as well coming in for Di Marco, who played very, very well. Maybe Inzaghi's got a couple of difficult decisions to make for that left-hand side in this game. But I like this team, Bruno. I think this team should be able to take care of the business. I'd like to see Lukaku grab some goals, but I'd also like to see Lautaro as well get on the score sheet. It's really important to get his confidence up, especially. Other than that, I can't see where anybody is supposed to have a bad game. How are you feeling?
Look, as long as it doesn't get to the point where we're taking Skriniar off to bring on Correa and have, 4 or 5 strikers, because he ran out of ideas. But I think the boys are settled. They've got their mentality where it is. And I think going forward, more than likely, this will be our consistent starting 11, hopefully minus the number 1, and that alternates a bit more. I don't want to wait until January Coppa Italia to see Onana take the pitch in an Inter jersey, but I feel that this is most probably going to be our strongest starting 11 moving forward. At the same time, Di Marco had a stellar game against Lecce. For someone who wasn't that critical within the squad last season, he really picked up his game there. So it's nice to see the rotation there. And Damian, I don't know why, he hasn't had more game time, because he also played extremely well. But when push came to shove, Dumfries was at the right place at the right time. I remember doing the stream with you last week, same time last week, and you said about Lukaku, I don't care if he scores and if it comes off his ass. Well, Dumfries got the same goal just off his chest. But yeah, look, this should be the starting 11. I don't expect any more experimenting at this point in time. But I don't think, who was it? Marvel said, we're playing at the Miazza. Our fans want to see this starting 11. And, Bastoni back into the squad, Dumfries starting. This is where we need to go moving forward. None of these Dzeko coming on, into the starting 11 anymore.
Yeah, fair enough. Matt, how are you feeling when you see this lineup? You think it gets the business done? Who are you looking forward to seeing the most? Anything special? Any doubts?
Brozovic is my guy. But I can't wait to see on that left-hand side Bastoni and Gorson's linking up. That should be very good. Both guys running forward and linking with each other on that left-hand side. That's exciting for me. I want to see Correa maybe get some playing time. I want to see him maybe come 65th, 70th minute, bring some energy into the team. And obviously Dumfries on that right-hand side. He was very, very good last week. I just hope this week we have a referee who knows how to referee, not an incompetent guy who is a hometown Lecce boy.
Man, that was bad, bro. That was a horrendous performance.
Look, if we're up 2-0 at halftime, I'd like to see Aslani come in for Brozovic. We need to blood these new players in ASAP, because come Champions League and then you got Coppa. I haven't seen the group stage yet, but I'm feeling that we make the round of 16. So if we're going deep, you really need to blood these players in, and a game against Spezia is the game to get them onto the pitch once you've built that 2-0 lead.
Fair call, man. DJ Nusko says, I think Onana will be our UCL keeper while Hunter plays in the league games. I think that's a good shout. I think you could very well see Onana play Champions League games. Why not, Bruno?
You can't chuck him into this squad at the highest level in the game domestically. I just think there is too much pressure on a goalkeeper to go, well, you're going to be playing the most elite football and that's all you're going to be playing. There's no room for error, so I just think, I'd like to see him take a more prominent fixture within the Champions League, but I just need him to have some Serie A game time as well.
Yeah, fair call. Like, let's remember, he probably played his best football in the Champions League in that 2018-ish season. But yeah, he's definitely had a big gap in between. He needs slow integrating. Do you guys see Gosens as a solid replacement for Perisic? At the moment, no. But I think as the season grows on, so will Gosens. Matt, what do you think about that?
Different. I can't compare those two. Perisic was a warrior all over the field. Defense, attack, where I don't think we're going to get that out of Gosens, but we shouldn't expect to get that out of Gosens. That's not what he's been.
Yeah,
like that's not his game. His game has always been a top assist, and always the guy who's leading the attack down one flank. Where Perisic last year, there was no one in world football who could have done what Perisic did last year. He hands down best in the world in that position last year.
Yeah. He was. He really was. All right, let's have a look at our opponents. Honestly, even when you look at this team on paper, there's a lot of talent here. They'll line up with Dragowski at keeper, who had an absolute slammer against Empoli. He's going to have a slammer of a season, man. He will take that clean sheet to the bank last week. Kiwoya at at centre back. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly. I just know that I know he is very good. I've seen him a little bit, not too much, but I know that West Ham were in for about 12, 13 million for him this transfer market. But no, he's staying at Spezia. We've got Caldara. Obviously needs a galactic season if he's going to have another chance at getting a move to a bigger club in his career. At 28 years old, I actually doubt it. I think his best days are over and he's only going to regress. You've got Bastoni, not our Bastoni, obviously. Simone Bastoni, who has been wanted before, plays most of his football at left back, but in Sky Sports predicted 11 and formation, they're putting him at defensive mid in their 3-5-2 this time. And I think that says it all, really. Like, these are some talented players already, and it only gets a little bit more risky, gentlemen, as you move into midfield and attack. Last week's goal scorer Nzola will be dangerous on the break. So as long as we lock down him and Skriniar's paying attention and Dumfries paying attention, I think that there won't be too much of a problem there. And Reka and Gyasi offer a fair bit of width on the side as well. So these guys aren't easy beats. They've also got Daniele Maldini on the bench, which is worth noting as well. And Kovalenko, the guy who's on the thumbnail, was probably one of their most talented players, hasn't played for them this season, but will be on the bench. So this is not a soft side. This is a tough side. This is a good football side. This is a Serie A side. And I think they'll trouble a lot of teams this season. So we need to get the business done quickly and not be dragged into a whole 1-1 at the start of the second half. And don't drag this one out too long because it's a sketchy fixture, just like it was for big sides last season. That's all from me. Let's go over to Bruno to talk a little bit about Spezia.
Look, I feel Dragowski, phenomenal goalkeeper, but this is an Empoli he's facing. Our players are a bit more clinical. We've got the likes of, Lukaku and Martinez up front, but you got Çalhanoğlu, Dumfries, Barella, who can belt a ball from outside the box as well. But the defense really needs to stay on top, not just of Verde, but as well Nzola, because Spezia are a team where they don't have the one player who can run away with the goal scoring. They've got both players up front who can be quite prominent when it comes to being in front of goal. And I think that's what has kept them in the Serie A for so long, because you can't just shut one player out and win a game. You've got to shut both out. And two attackers, 3 defenders. I don't know. Looking at their lineup, it leads me more wanting to start Damian over Dumfries because he's more defensively, just to help the defense shut these 2 players out, because I feel our front 2 as well as Hakan and Gosens can really put the foot on the throats of Spezia come, by halftime.
Yeah, very cool. Matt, what are you saying about this side here, managed by Luca Gotti, who loves a little bit of defensive terrorism football on his day as well? So they'll look to hit us on the break. I mean, if they were hitting Empoli on the break last week, I expect us to take full control of this game, man. If this is a game, Matt, that really screams for an early goal to break it open early for us. It's kind of the same way we got against Lecce last week.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Empoli had their chances. They just didn't take them. If they did, different story last week. This side, this is a very talented side. They got a lot of good players here. Very quick, as you said, on the break. And against us, speed usually troubles us. So if they've got their front four attacking at one time against our back three, it could be dangerous signs. But yeah, we just got to focus on our attack. Our defense will come. We know how solid they are at the back. Like in Skriniar, De Vrij, Bastoni, we know how solid they are. So yeah, we just need to focus on our attack here, get some goals, and our home crowd will get us through.
Yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to, boys, the most, is seeing that home crowd. I think, I don't know if it's sold out just yet, but is it sold out? Has anyone seen if it is?
They're quite close to. Inter's had the best attendance come home fixtures across Italy for a very long time. So I can't see them not getting close to a sellout there.
Yeah, me either. All right, let's do the embarrassing part. Predictions. Bruno, you can go first.
3-0.
3-0. All right, that'd be nice. Who scores?
Lukaku, Martinez, and Skriniar.
That would be nice. Matt, you?
I might embarrass myself. I think I wrote in my article 4-0. So, yeah, a return to home. I think Lukaku will get a double. I think Lautaro will get a double. I think
that would be really nice as well.
Yeah.
Mighty Mal's got my score there. I'm going to go 3-1. Lukaku, Lautaro, and Hakan grabs a goal as well. I don't know. Maybe it could be from the penalty spot, depending on how the game goes. I'm not too sure. I think we'll get some penalties this season. I really do think we will, because we can create a lot of opportunities. I think Lukaku needs to get Lautaro to practice, help him practice his flopping game a little bit, because Lukaku has to really sell it to get a penalty. That's something you got to remember with him. He's built like a brick, you know what, and he doesn't get penalties called on him very often for fouls. I was watching it very closely when we were playing under Conte, so he's going to have to learn to sell it a little bit more. I mean, I know it's dark arts, Bruno, but that's just what I think, man.
That's the game sometimes. You know. But you think now with VAR, whether he sells it or not, they're intervening left, right, and center. You know, they're coming in out of nowhere. Not sure if you watched the Premier League at all, but Conte, old manager, and Chelsea, he pulled him by the hair to the ground, and VAR just looked at, next. So there's no faith in anything. I don't like relying on that. I just think we can get the ball in the back of the net enough times. We don't need to rely on the penalties.
Yeah, fair call. All right, let's talk a little bit of fantasy before we move on. Guys, thank you very much for everybody that's joined us so far. We've still got 17 with us on Inter Worldwide so far as well. And you know what else we've got? We've got a fair few numbers, Bruno, on this league. Well, I think we're up to 130-something, 133 in this fantasy league now. That is awesome. Really, really good stuff. Make sure you guys are joining. The link is in the description. The code is in the description. It's also up on the screen right there. Where are the boys? Where are the boys? All right, 92. Not good. Not good, Bruno. Not good at all.
You.
Where are you, man?
Oh, I'm on the first page.
Oh, come on.
I'm on the 6th page. 111. 111th.
That's right. Let's see.
There we go.
There he is. All right, because we didn't get to see your team. What we did last week. So Lukaku got you the points. Osimhen got you some points. That's a good call. That's a good shout. But when Bonaventura scored, I was like, man, this guy is just still going. He's just gonna keep on going. He's a class act, bro. He really is.
Vecino.
Why would you have Vecino in your team?
It's nostalgia,
merchant, bro.
Oh, jeez.
Hey,
in his starting team as well.
Yeah.
No. That wasn't a substitute. They brought that in because one of my players didn't play. But I think really got me over the line was Toloi from Atalanta in defense.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Did you start Bastoni or did you sub him in?
Nah, started him.
Started him.
Wow,
I didn't
okay.
see the lineup.
What
Well,
page
at
are
least
you
he
on,
didn't
Matt?
play. Yeah, I think the 6th. At least he didn't play a guy who's not even playing. Like, who did I play? My team.
Oh, Sharman's on page 6 as well.
I played Demiral. He didn't even play for Atalanta.
Oh, yeah, I was the only one that didn't pick Lukaku. That's a bit embarrassing as an Inter fan, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mm,
not bad.
exactly.
See, you got Sensi in there.
Nah, he's on my bench. He came in for because Demiral didn't play, so he came in
Yeah.
as a midfielder.
Yeah,
What's this?
Vecino was
What's
on
this,
my
Matt?
bench
Are you
also.
serious? I didn't notice this.
You know why I put him? Because
He
I
got more
think we're
points
gonna
than
do.
Manyan.
I
Because
think we're
what?
gonna have a lot of clean sheets.
Yeah,
That's
right.
why I think.
I like Satiano. I've got Ranocchio as well.
Yeah, the wrong Ranocchia played, unfortunately. Filippo Ranocchia instead of Andrea Ranocchia.
Mm.
So
So Simeone actually went to Napoli, like officially, did he?
Yeah,
I can't believe that. I can't believe that's official.
Yeah.
And Raspadori as well. I really didn't think they'd get those two over the line so quickly. It's pretty impressive.
I think Simeone is like a 2-year loan too, or 1-year loan. It's not even a
Man,
buy.
it's great business, man. To add Raspadori and Simeone to their squad on match day 2 this season, it's really good. Oh, Di Maria is injured, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not looking good for me, Bruno, man.
Di Maria is injured.
I'm struggling early.
You're talking about Hakan scoring, but he's not even in your team.
Did he even? Nah.
What about
Depends, bro.
Rebic?
How many points he gets depends on how many penalties Lautaro wants to bomb before he steps up to the spot.
Anthony, you didn't see my backup keeper, but I got Musa on the bench.
I did
So
too.
I'm going to switch them, back and forth. I shouldn't have got him because Atalanta conceded a lot of goals. So that's probably not a smart choice.
I got Musa on the bench as well.
You can't have any more Napoli players, no way.
But I had Kaja from Milan, and he didn't play, so they brought Vecino onto my squad.
I think he's still injured, isn't he? He's coming back from knee reconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I don't even know if he'll get in the starting team with Tomori and what's the other guy's name?
Interesting. It'd be very interesting. He's struggling here.
Big time. Now I've used up my Atalanta players as well. See, Simone Bastoni 15 points. He won't get that many points again this season. No way. No way. Hey, Vince.
Bonucci. Imagine you
I wonder how many people have picked Bonucci. That's an interesting one.
Even Mancini.
Oh, 100%. All right. Yeah. Let's go with one of the Roma boys, eh? How much have I got? It's cheering. He'll start Mancini more often than he starts Ibanez for sure. All right. That'll do. Bruno, any parting words? Oh, yeah, because Simeone's in Napoli now. Spewing.
Who'd you bring in? Oh, Anguissa on your bench.
Yeah, but I don't know if he'll start many games now that they've brought in Ndombele, which is another good move that no one's talking about. How did they get all this over the line, Matt, man? Like, they've just gone... Like, I honestly had them picked for 5th or 6th as the season was starting, but they've fixed that right up, man.
Yeah, I think losing Mertens, but that's a big one.
They've got a big gap to bridge from Mertens and Insigne leaving.
Yeah,
and also
Koulibaly is a huge loss still.
Fabian Ruiz too.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
They've lost a lot of quality. I know they brought in some good players, but they've got rid of the 3-4 top players. If they would have got Dybala, different story, because he probably would have suited the way they played.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what they do. I think they're still around that 4th, 5th position. I think Roma, that 4th, 5th position, I still think it's going to be Inter, Juventus, and Milan. I still think it's us three fighting for it.
I don't know. I like Roma. Napoli made a massive statement as well. It'll be very interesting to see where the season goes. But I'd love to do a post World Cup Serie review and retouch on. Hey, Vinci. Retouch on our predictions and what we think, because I don't know. I think the January transfer market is going to be off its chops. Honestly, you're going to have these young stars playing. I don't know if you've seen the attackers for Brazil. They've got like 3 pages of players because they're so dominant. But there's going to be a massive. You always get those couple of players who come out of a World Cup worth their weight in gold. Who was it? I think it was 2010, James Rodriguez. Everyone wanted him after the World Cup he had for Colombia, I think.
Yeah.
Did nothing really, but we'll see.
I think he scored 5 goals in that World Cup, didn't he?
You're talking about Rodriguez?
Yeah, James.
But didn't their route wasn't that tough. And then the slap
But
tag.
people
He
say
never
goal
played Champions
scorer.
League football. He never played Champions League football before the Real Madrid signed him either, because Monaco was in a slump. So I reckon it was like a huge overpayment. Huge overpayment. Where is he now?
That's what you get from World Cup stars. The
100%.
World Cup tax.
I think it was 2014, right? 24. That was,
Yeah.
Where is he now? I'm just looking it up. Because he played for Everton, right? He was
Yeah,
at
he left
Everton for a
Everton.
couple of
He
years.
went to Qatar. Yeah, he got a
Just on a
massive
big paycheck.
contract. Oh, something like $800K a week or some crap like that.
That's mad. That's mad. All right. Anyway, let's wrap this up. That was a fun half an hour. Thank you very much to my brothers in arms, Bruno and Matt. And there's some nice, more intimate changes coming to our podcast element of the brand soon. So keep an eye on that. Bruno, ciao. Thanks for joining me.
Ciao. We're talking soon.
Matt, we'll see you at some point over the next few weeks, man. Cheers.
Sounds good. Thank you, boys.
All right. From everyone here at Inter Worldwide, Forza Inter. Ciao, ragazzi. Cheers.